In this video, we're going to look at another two-dimensional array algorithm. The algorithm is processing a column in a two-dimensional array. So we've got a column right here. All of the elements in column 2 are red. And what I want to do is, so this represents test number 2. And this represents the score for student 0, student 1, student 2, and so on. So if I want to, compute an average for test number 2, I need to go through and visit every one of these cells. Okay, so first it's row 0, column 2, row 1, column 2, row 2, column 2. And what never changes is the column number because we're processing everything that's just in that column. So here's a list of the subscripts that we want. And this should pretty much look familiar. If you disregard the 2's, we're just doing a for loop from 0 to the number of rows minus 1. Okay, so we can do a for loop that goes from 0 to the number of rows minus 1, and that will be the value that's used to change our row number, but our column number will remain the same. So let's look at what the code for this would look like. And so this is going to be display test. Our previous one was a row, and a row is a student, so we call that one display student. So what we want to do here is, it's a static function because we are writing a console program. It's void because it doesn't return anything. It just does something. It prints some stuff out. This is the name of the function. We're passing in a two-dimensional array of integers. The name of the array is score. We're passing in a single integer called students, telling how many students there are, and we're passing in a single element called tests, an integer telling how many tests there are. Okay, so we're going to ask the user which test, and we're numbering from 0 to 19 here, rather than 1 to 20. So we'll read in the number, and we don't have to do anything to it. We'll convert it from a string to an integer, store it in a variable called test. Then we're going to go, what's changing is the row this time, not the column, so I'm using the variable r instead of c. We're going to start at 0. We're going to stop at 1 less than the number of students, and we're going to add 1 to the row number every time. And inside the body of the loop, we're going to write out from the scores array the item at element at row r and column test. And again, we don't need these last two instructions here because we've already got a read line built into our main program. So let's copy this code here. And let's go over to our program and paste it in. So all we're doing here is printing it out. And in order for that to work, we need to go up here and we need to call it. So display test, and we're going to pass in the score array. We're going to pass in max students, and we're going to pass in max tests. We can comment out the call to display student because we've already tested that one. Let's go ahead and run. So it wants to know which test. We'll do test number 2, which would be the last column. And we have 20 elements in the array. Student number 1's score for the third column was 1, 3, and then 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 3. And this first number here is the row number, and the last number is the column number. The last number is 3 all the way down because I'm processing everything from column 3. Okay, let's go ahead and close that. Let's go back down to display test, and let's make this a little more user-friendly, and we'll do this in terms of the way that people would count 20 items. So ask them to enter a number from 1 to 20, and when we convert it though, we're going to have to subtract 1 from it. There we go. So let's go ahead and run it now. And let's do the column 3. We can do a 3 this time because we're subtracting 1 from it. And it gives us everything for test number 3, which again is actually column 2 in our array. Okay. So that is the algorithm for processing every element in a column. And if you compare this function up here with this function down here, you see they're pretty much the same. Up here, we hold the row number constant. Down here, we hold the column number constant. And up here, since we're moving across, it's the column number that's going to change. So, C or column is a good variable name for that. Down here, we're going down a column, so the row number is changing every time. And so we use the letter R for row. Okay? So those two algorithms are pretty simple. Those are two pretty standard algorithms. There are many times when you want to just step through a row or step down a column of an array, and those are the algorithms for doing that.